1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
I'll be honest. I'm beginning to lament the Lamar Jackson conversation, the discourse about where he stands as a quarterback in the NFL, because I'm starting to think a lot of y'all are just haters.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. We back. And we're theoretically speaking here on ESPN 1063 on a Tuesday, a Duffy's MVP Tuesday. We'll still be giving out our MVP of the weekend here. We got C-Cat on the ones and twos on the other side of the glass. And I will be kicking it with you throughout our fun time here on a Tuesday evening, riding right on up until 6. And you know it's the summer because we got people ranking the top 100 pro athletes of the 21st century. We have the fan environment rankings now going all throughout ESPN Radio. And, of course, yesterday we got that coveted list, the annual list from ESPN.com, where they survey all of the scouts, the executives, the GMs, the front office members, and they pick out the top 10 players at every single position in the National Football League. So center, guard, tackle, receiver, running back, and, of course, the most the one that draws up the most discourse, the one that's going to always bang out the heaviest headlines. They ranked the top 10 quarterbacks. Now, one thing about football fans that I'm appreciative that we've gotten to here today in the middle of July in 2024, it feels like anybody with a brain in their head, anybody with sensibilities about them who isn't acting out of either just an ability to fire off a hot take or maybe out of pure hatred can agree. Atop any list when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL right now, there's only one guy that can fill that mantle, right?
Yeah, it's easy.
Who is it?
You waiting for me? Oh,
yeah,
it's Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, I was making sure. Just making sure, C-Cat. I know every now and then you got something up your sleeve. But Patrick Mahomes, after 3 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, and the bevy of accolades that man has drawn up and made happen in Kansas City, he is number one on this list. What I will say is there was one voter still, after all of this, one voter in that top 10 list that didn't put Patrick Mahomes first. And I mean, I'm appalled. I honestly do not get that. I think that vote should be discredited, taken away. Even still, Patrick Mahomes still gets the top spots. That's something we can all agree on. All right. But what comes into question in the NFL today isn't about who sits atop the throne of the quarterbacks. It's about who's number 2. Because though I feel like it's definitive, I feel like it's pretty obvious who it should be, there is a hefty debate around who is the second best signal caller in the league. I'll just give the top 10 that they rallied off, the executive scouts and GMs interviewed by ESPN. Again, their 5th year doing this thing. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Josh Allen. Number 4, reigning MVP and Boynton Beach alum, Lamar Jackson. As you can see, that might be who I'm leaning on. Number 5, does this shock you a little bit, C-Cat? Matthew Stafford at number 5.
Yeah, there's a couple guys behind him that I would put in front of Matt Stafford.
Like guys you would think are better than Stafford, but maybe because he has that Super Bowl so recently, he got the bump, which I can at least respect, because at number 6, you have a guy in Justin Herbert who doesn't even have a playoff win to his name. Right. So how do you rank him above Matthew Stafford? Number 7, you get C.J. Stroud, who was a rookie sensation, a phenom, and who can make probably the highest climb on this list when you look at who is in the top 10. And then at number 8, you got Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets. Does he still have a lot left in his tank? A 4-time MVP on his last couple of legs. At number 9, you get Jared Goff. And rounding out the top 10, because no list is complete without a Dallas Cowboy, Dak Prescott. Your top 10 list of quarterbacks in the NFL right now, as voted on by league executives, coaches, and scouts, put out by ESPN. Any major omission here? I know a lot of people are mad that Tua Tagovailoa is not in there. Brock Purdy. Is there any other name, CCAT, that you don't see there that you would have expected to see in the top 10?
You know, I'm surprised Jared Goff's in there. I feel like if Jared Goff didn't get paid like a top 10 quarterback, then he wouldn't be there. But because he got that big contract, I think the rest of the league said the Lions might know more about him than I do, so I'm going to take their word for it. That's why I think Jared Goff's in the top 10, because of what he's getting paid, not because of what he's going to do in 2024.
Well, I honestly could say this for Jared Goff, though. He's played for a Super Bowl. He's almost played in a second Super Bowl. And for him, it starts to get slim as you get to the back end of this top 10. Like, it's hard to argue for Dak Prescott over Jared Goff when you look at playoff success. Obviously, Jordan Love is a better talent, but he hasn't done it for long enough. And somehow, Jordan Love not moving up this list, but C.J. Stroud being 7, I think that's the most appalling thing to me is how does Jordan Love, after what he showed, not make the list, but C.J. Stroud sits at 7? That's a little weird.
No Jalen Hurts either.
Yeah. And he played in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, was a runner-up for MVP. I think last year with the Eagles was a little tough. But again, we know number 1 is out there. We put it out on Twitter today because we want to see what you all thought. I'll tell you where I'm leaning for number 2 in the NFL right now. But the Twitter poll we put out is, who is definitively the number 2 quarterback in the NFL? Who's the best of the rest behind Patrick Mahomes? And that tweet at ESPN West Palm, you can make your votes. The options are Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or other, where you can pencil in who you think is the number 2 quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes. And though I believe it is definitively Lamar Jackson, I'll get into that point first. I do want to tell you about the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections, because that poll is presented by the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections. As always, our poll of the week. And you know the August primary elections are coming up on August 20th. Florida, a closed primary state. That means voters can only vote for candidates in their own party. A voter can change their party affiliation for the August primaries up until July 22nd. You got 6 days for that. Eligible voters can vote in one of 3 ways, either by mail at an early voting location from August 10th through the 18th, or on Election Day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit votepalmbeach.gov to view your status and learn more. We'll see you at the polls. So there it is. Vote on who you believe is the number 2 quarterback in the National Football League behind Patrick Mahomes. And at this point now, as we've reached this level in the discussion, as I look on this same list last year, and Lamar Jackson was number 7. And what did he go out and do? Not only did he lead the Baltimore Ravens to a 14-3 record and into the AFC Championship game, he earned his 2nd MVP in the National Football League. He was on definitively the best team from start to finish of this league. If you look at last year, I mean, obviously the Chiefs are the ones that end up crowned champions, and I'll be the first to pound my chest and say, Chiefs Kingdom, let's get it. But for the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, from start to finish of this season, under the new direction of Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, and with Lamar Jackson at the helm ripping things up, they looked like the most dominant and definitively best team in the league. They showed it up against the San Francisco 49ers. They whipped the tails of the Detroit Lions late in the season, and they looked like they were going to do it all. I even, as a Chiefs fan, was a little nervous about that championship game on the road. I know it ended in deflating fashion, but if Lamar Jackson was number 7 on this list last year, and Joe Burrow sat at number 2, and Josh Allen sat at number 3, what did the 2 of those guys prove that Lamar Jackson didn't last year for him not to surpass them? What else would Lamar Jackson would have had to do in the playoffs and in the regular season to prove to you all that he is definitively the best quarterback in this league, not named Patrick Mahomes? Because when you look at the guy's resume, if you did a blind resume test between Lamar, Burrow, and Allen and anybody else contending for that number 2 spot, there shouldn't be any kind of argument made against Lamar Jackson. But the one thing that I'm starting to pick up as we talk about Lamar and his place, his standing in the NFL, a lot of people are discrediting the results because they don't really like the action, right? They don't necessarily appreciate the process and the way in which Lamar Jackson racks up wins and is the 4th winningest quarterback in the NFL history when you look at winning percentage. And if you look at guys currently active, only one man has more wins in the regular season as compared to losses, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson has proven himself to be the number 2 quarterback in this league. Sue me if the guy can't get through Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, because few have been able to do so, and I think that's definitively the number 2 guy in the NFL. What say you? Who is the number 2 guy in the NFL when it comes to signal callers? Who is the number 2 quarterback, the guy you would pick after Patrick Mahomes? 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. I mean, I know some of you out there are stretching, trying to get your wits about you, trying to get your body back in the right place. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. 888-760-3776. Is it CJ Stroud? Is it Aaron Rodgers? Is it Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, or Josh Allen? Who is the number 2 quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes? And C-Cat, I'm surprised you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, but I think that you're leaning against Lamar being the guy.
Listen, those folks on the outside cannot like what Lamar does on the field to get the results that he does, and I'm on the inside as a Baltimore Ravens fan. I don't like the results I'm getting come playoff time. Listen, to prove that you're a top 10 quarterback, it depends on your first 17 games of the season. Regular season performance, that's good enough to get you in the top 10. To get into the top 3, it matters who you are at your peak in the most pivotal moments of your seasons. And Lamar Jackson, given the best team in football, given home field advantage, given every single reason to prove that he is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, he fumbled it. He fumbled the opportunity, he fumbled the football, and he threw a ball in a triple coverage that I will never forgive him for as a Ravens fan. He had every reason to win the AFC this year, and he just fumbled it.
So one thing about the Lamar critiques that come out of him getting dismantled by that Chiefs defense that shouldn't get lost in this, that's Steve Spagnuolo. That was one of the top 3, top 4 pass defenses in the league, especially playing at that clip, clicking on all cylinders at that point. And Lamar Jackson, for some reason, the Baltimore Ravens, as much as it is on Lamar Jackson's shoulders that he should have been better in those moments, I still don't get why rookie offensive coordinator Tom Monken, for all of the creativity he has, for the play calling expertise we've credited him for, I don't understand how you come in there with that game plan and don't try to lean heavily more on the run against a team whose strength is for you to drop back 30 to 40 times and pass it on them. So, yeah, Lamar was bad in those spots. He could have made a way better throw. That likely throw is going to be, played on highlight tapes that are defaming Lamar Jackson for the next 5-10 years. But that's also, a job where the Ravens, I feel like, just got absolutely outcoached too.
Yeah, crazy of the Ravens to put the ball in their quarterback hands and said, let's have you throw the football this game.
Yeah.
That's really being facetious there, because I think that you should be able to rely on your quarterback to throw the football if you're taking the ball out of the run game. He should be able to work with that, and he wasn't able to. And it's going to stick in my side for years to come. That's why he just can't be number 2 in the NFL for me right now.
Who's your guy then? Because if the guy that has 2 MVPs, that has the second highest winning percentage actively in the NFL behind Mahomes, isn't number 2, who gets in there at number 2 that's impressed you so vastly in the playoffs?
Got to be Josh Allen. Josh Allen had the Chiefs beat. He did. 13 seconds. Josh Allen won that football game. Josh Allen won that football game. The Bills defense lost that football game.
Wow.
Josh Allen did everything humanly possible to win that football game, something that we're not able to say about Lamar Jackson in those biggest spots of his career. Josh Allen slayed the Beast. The Beast came back from the dead like The Undertaker and beat him in that 2021 divisional playoff game. So I'm going to say Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Now, what level of pass catcher has Lamar Jackson had that contends with what not just Josh Allen has had in Stephon Diggs and maybe Gabe Davis to a lesser extent, but also what Joe Burrow, another guy whose name gets thrown in here often, has had with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on the outside? Because you, for one, know what that Ravens offense has been like, to suffer through some of the lulls of it and even the highs of it this past year, even though the number one pass-catching threat was Zay Flowers, a rookie who, you didn't mention it, fumbled a big one away there that Lamar couldn't put in the end zone for him in that AFC Championship as well. What does he have to compare to those things for you to say, okay, I'm just going to drop him back, give him the ball, and hope that he dissects defenses with his arm?
The Ravens' run game isn't just Lamar Jackson. The Ravens' run game is putting together an offensive line and a running back group that can help the pass game as well. Bills, not as much. Offensive line, not too great. So the offense that's helping these quarterbacks is more than just the wide receiver position, where the Bills have more support for Josh Allen in that spot than they do Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. I'm not willing to say there's a better supporting cast for the Ravens.
I will say Josh Allen was doing nothing but dinking and dunking and dropping it off to Joe Cook in that James Cook in that last game. Do we have time to go to the phone lines quick?
Yeah, we certainly do. But also, I mean, you can put Josh Allen in almost every NFL team, and he would turn that into a playoff contender. They're not the same with Lamar Jackson.
We go. Oh, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely defamatory. The guy that had Louisville looking like a strong team and won the Heisman with Brian Quick as his number one receiver, the guy that as soon as he got in the league was balling and literally playing at MVP level, whereas we saw Josh Allen play poorly in the league. I think that is absolute. I'm incredulous. We haven't seen it.
How great was the ACC when Lamar Jackson there minus Clemson?
We haven't seen it. They almost got him.
Almost, yeah. You take Clemson out, there was no one good in that conference.
But they almost got Clemson, and Clemson was immaculate.
Almost.
Well, you just gave Josh Allen an almost against the Chiefs in the AFC game where he didn't do enough to win. He actually lost the game. He has 13 seconds left. Devontae's in Atlanta. He's on Theoretically Speaking. Vontae, first off, I mean, do you believe that right there? Does Lamar Jackson have less credibility to take a franchise from Florida playoffs than Josh Allen has shown so far in the NFL?
Oh, that's tough. I think it's even. I honestly think it's even.
Come on.
So that's a he's straddling the fence.
When they play at their best, sometimes they can be the number one quarterback in the league when they're at their best. That's like Lamar. I love Lamar, but like in the playoffs and stuff, he don't show up. That's why I picked Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, if my life was on the line and I needed a quarterback, I'm picking Joe Burrow. He's not scared of nobody, especially not Pat Mahomes.
Okay, I love the call. That's cool. He could be as unafraid as he wants to be of everybody, and appreciate the call, Devontae. If he can't be available, what Bill Parcells say, your best ability is availability. If he's going to keep ending these seasons on the bench and not on the field, I don't care how much moxie the guy has. You beat Patrick Mahomes once in the playoffs, and apparently your career's made. You're a made man.
That's why I think I would take him over Lamar too. Because who you are at your peak, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, when you get into the top five, that's a differentiating factor. Not the numbers that you put up or the awards you rack up in the regular season.
Y'all are making a glaring mistake, and you know what? It's going to come back to bite you, just like all the GMs that had a chance to go get Lamar Jackson in the offseason and sat on their hands and said, nah, I want Desmond Ridder. Speaking of MVPs, Lamar Jackson has two of them. We often give out our Duffy's MVP of the weekend on Mondays. We'll have to do it on a Tuesday here on Theoretically Speaking. Quickly, I'll give the candidates for the Duffy's MVP of the weekend who dominated the sports scene on a weekend full of threats. And the number one MVP of the weekend candidate goes to Jalen Brunson for the New York Knicks. Jalen Brunson, who saved his franchise potentially giving up over $100 million guaranteed, locking into a max extension for 3 years with the Knicks, saving them from the second apron and allowing that team to be good around his friends. That's one Duffy's MVP candidate of the weekend. The other one, I got to go with the guy that I called to go out and win Wimbledon, and that would be Carlos Alcaraz. I had to get this guy in here first and foremost, C-Cat, not just because I called it, but because he did so on the big stage, beating Novak Djokovic for the second straight year. Who is your candidate for Duffy's MVP of the weekend?
The haters. The haters of Sir Bronny James. We are seeing live and in color the reason why many have decided that LeBron James' son should not belong in the NBA right now. It's ridiculous. The kid should still be in college pursuing a bachelor's degree. He should not be sharing the floor with guys who are trying to make it in the league. We're seeing firsthand why.
Well, the winner of the Duffy's MVP of the weekend, and though I appreciate you giving it to the haters because, they do deserve to have a bit of a pat on the back because the Bronny has looked terrible. And Jalen Brunson, though he done some well for the Knicks, I feel like he done some poor for other players competing for contracts down the line. So my Duffy's MVP of the weekend goes to the man lifting the beautifully crafted trophy, and that's Carlos Alcaraz, the Spaniard. We went 2 for 2 on our Spaniard predictions on Take It to the House. And for the Duffy's MVP of the weekend, we're going to go ahead and give it to Carlos Alcaraz. Duffy Sports Grill, you already know the game. It is the dog days of summer at Duffy Sports Grill, and summer has never tasted so good. Now through July 31st, you can enjoy char-grilled, all-natural, uncured Vienna beef hot dogs like the All-American, topped with chopped onions, sauerkraut, relish, mustard, and ketchup. How about the Cubano with pulled pork shoulder, Swiss cheese, pickles, and mustard? I mean, this deal only runs through July 31st. You only got about 15 days to pull up to your nearest Duffy Sports Grill. You can hop online, duffysmvp.com, become a reward member, become an MVP like me, and also scour that menu because you can also find out about the Duffy's Death Sauce and the Death Dog. Again, limited time. Pull up to a Duffy Sports Grill, enjoy those 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. The dog days of summer now through July 31st. At Duffy's, our game is always on. And how about we go to a Palm Beach County Sports Hall of Famer going to join us on the other side to talk about how Randy Moss is delivering some let's call it a hint in the right direction to a star receiver in the league. Uncle Steve, when we come back on Theoretically Speaking.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studio.